Well, hello guys, PokePlayer, and today I'm back for another Wi-Fi battle, and this one is against ChTiVeN. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but this is another random passerby. I didn't really have anyone who wanted to battle me, so then you hop online and start trying to battle people online. And this was a really nice battle. My opponent brings a really hardcore to break a Skarmory Heatran core, but it actually worked out because some of my Pokemon I used some of my Pokemon as wall breakers, as you guys are probably able to see in this battle, and it was such a lot of fun to see them actually do such great job. And this is of course another how to Trick Room battle, and this is day 4. The last Wi-Fi battle will be on day 5, and then I will start a showdown session. But my opponent starts off with the Skarmory, and I predicted that because that's the most common lead. And I went into my Camerupt to lead off with. So I run Eruption on my Camerupt. I should definitely switch that off because it doesn't get the boost from Sheer Force, and Fire Blast is already more powerful than it, but I just like Eruption on it. So I went for the Eruption right here, not wanting to miss my Fire Blast first turn and him being able to free set up his spikes and after that rocks or something like that. But it still did a great amount of damage to the Suicune, as you guys can see. So now I switch out into my Executor, knowing that I can take a few hits, and he sets up the Calm Mind. So this is Crocoon, as I was already afraid of, but he showed Crocoon. But I knew I could kind of deal with it because Ice Beam will probably not even bring me down to the Pitaya Berry range, but he decided to switch out knowing that he couldn't really do an awful lot. So now I go for the Trick Room, knowing that the Suicune is able to outspeed an Executor and the rest of my team probably. So I switch out right here. I can't deal with steel types on this set, which is unfortunate. I should run HP Ground or HP Ice, but I didn't. So my opponent goes for a Toxic, and that is a bit unfortunate. So right here he goes for the Protect. I didn't actually predict that, but I knew he wouldn't stay in on me, so I decided to go for the Focus Energy because he was probably going to switch out, but he actually went for the Protect, which is even better actually. So now I set up my Focus Energy. 100% crit ratio, it is the best. So my opponent actually has a core of Suicune, Heatran and Skarmory. So now my opponent switches out into the Suicune, predicting the Water type move, which I actually went for, but Suicune is probably physically defensive because he didn't like this Surf at all. As you guys can see right here, it does enough to two-shot it. It's a 3-hit KO in the Suicune. And I know it's a 100% crit ratio, so I know this Surf is going to kill because it's not going to be another crit, which is great. That's one of its cores down, but the toxic damage is unfortunately racking up. So I do have one more turn of Trick Room, I believe. Oh no, I don't have any turns left right here. So now my opponent goes into the Guard Chop. I decided to sack this guy off because it did good enough work and it didn't really help on the rest of my opponent's team. So I decided to sack this guy off. So now I'll go to my Never Dies because I know I can live any kind of hits he wants to throw at me. So I decided to go for the Trick Room because... Or did I go for the Will-O-Wisp? No, I went for the Trick Room because I kind of knew he would switch out. And he switched into the Skarmory, which is alright. Skarmory actually has 70 base speed, which is not too bad actually for a defensive wall. I didn't expect this thing to have so much speed. So I switched into my Camerupt knowing that I could take any kind of hit, and he sets up his Stealth Rocks to prevent my my Pokemon to switch out a lot of the time. So now it's a mind game. Will he switch into the Heatran or not? So right here I played it safe because I kind of knew he would do it, but I didn't want to risk him staying in and go for a War or anything like that. So now my opponent goes for the Protect, scouting what I will do, and I went for another Eruption, predicting him to switch in the Skarmory. And right now he predicts me to predict that again, but I didn't, and I went for the Earth Pen. I was so glad I did, because if I wouldn't, I would have been in a lot of pain. So that is 2 of his walls down. He only has the Skarmory left as a wall, but the Twisted Dimensions return to normal. So he switches into the Aerodactyl, looking fresh and pink. So I have to switch out because I know it has ground type moves. It has Earthquake, it has rock slide, which won't kill me by the way, but that's fine. So I switch into my dust clubs, knowing that I can take any kind of physical hit because it's a physically defensive dust clubs, I believe. Yeah, I think it is. It should be at least. And I tank this rock slide as a beast. It is a Mega Aerodactyl, but he doesn't care. And right here he goes for the pursuit actually, and I didn't like to see that, but it didn't do as much damage too. He might have thought I would switch out, but I didn't, gladly enough. So I go for the burn, and that's alright. So that means I don't have to deal with him anymore. So right now he switches out, and I did know that I could take one more rock slide, and I didn't like the health I was at, so I decided to go for a pain split right here, which was perfect because this Clefable is a lot of pain, and I splitted it right there. That doesn't make any kind of sense. But that's alright, I get a lot of health back because Clefable has a lot of health. And I switch it to my Marowak, knowing that it can outspeed the Clefable. I'm not totally sure why I switched it in. I think I knew I could outspeed it, but I didn't also want to take the Toxic or something like that on my Dust Club. So he switches out once again into the Skarmory, which I predicted, and I went for the Fire Punch, which is perfect because it actually two-shots a Skarmory, which is great. I didn't expect that. Or at least it two-shots a Skarmory with a Rocky Helmet or any other item except for Leftovers or Citrus Berry, so that's great. And my opponent actually switches into this thing, and I decided to play it safe. I did like to get rid of that Skarmory, so I went for the Fire Punch once again. It did do a fair amount of damage to a resisted Mega Aerodactyl. And he switches out, making a double switch into the Clefairy, predicting my Dust Clubs to come in once again, which was a good play on his behalf because I did that. And I was in kind of a pickle right here. So now my opponent decides, let me see right here, put the pressure up, and now my opponent decides to go for the Calm Mind. But I was glad that I saw Calm Mind because Cosmic Power would have been a lot worse, but gladly enough he did go for the Calm Mind. So now I went for the Trick Room because I did know that it was very necessary on my team. So I switch out into the Cubone no Marowak to hopefully not take an attacking type move, and luckily enough he doesn't go for that. He goes for another Calm Mind, so that's great. I know I can, from this range it will be hard for me to actually kill it, but I try and do it. He is at a kind of low amount of health, but I kill it. I get a crit. Marowak proving that he is the beast, but it wasn't really necessary, so keep that Hex, Marowak, keep it for important moments, but that was not very necessary. But it was still cool. So my opponent switches back in the Skarmory, trying to live one more, maybe get a Mimroll, but I don't. So that means that is another kill for my Cubone, I mean Marowak. And it's such a wall break, it's so great. Both Mega Camerupt and Marowak did such great jobs at breaking wall, as well as Octillery by the way. And now I go for the Boomerang, knowing that it will do a great amount of damage, but Garchomp is really bulky, so he is able to take it. But I won't take the Earthquake, but it doesn't matter either way, because the Trick Room runs out after this turn, so even if I would take it, he would be able to kill me next turn, so that doesn't really matter. So right now I go to the Executor to finish this game off with style, because he doesn't really have Pokemon left to actually hit my Executor with. So my opponent switched out into the Aerodactyl as I set up the Trick Room, because I like the Trick Room and it benefits my team a lot. So right now I go for the Giga Drain, thinking that it will kill, but it actually doesn't from this range, which is unfortunate, but I got all my health back. I am at full health, but my opponent goes for the Aerial Ace and I thought, oh, I'm dead. But I leave it on 32 HP, get the Pitaya Berry boost, which is perfect. I could go for the Psychic right here. I didn't like to go out of the Pitaya Berry range because I could have an Harvest. And right here I get another Harvest, which doesn't matter because my opponent's Garchomp is at a low amount of HP. But that will be the game actually. So right here I go for the Psychic, finishing it off. My opponent actually had a full shiny team, I believe. Or maybe, yeah, I think he had a full shiny team. Really interesting. But it didn't help him out. So that is the game. Another How to Trick Room battle for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There will be one more tomorrow. I have to battle someone. I don't have anyone quite yet, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave the like goal, 3 likes. And then I'll see you guys in my next video.